Rising star in the NFL is dead, cut down by gunfire less than a day after someone shot him in his own home. Washington Redskins player Sean Taylor died from his injuries early this morning. Eyewitness News reporter Karen Brown has the developing details.
A family is mourning a son, and a football team one of its up-and-coming defensive players. Washington Redskins safety Sean Taylor died this morning at a Miami hospital after being shot in his Florida home. The 24-year-old was airlifted to the hospital early Monday. According to a family friend, Taylor's girlfriend called 911 after someone broke through the couple's bedroom door and fired 2 shots. One bullet hit Taylor in the upper leg, damaging an artery and causing the massive blood loss that took his life.
Welcome back to another episode of DAS with your boy, Sean Mack. And today we're going to be discussing Sean Taylor. But before we get into that, I want to say thanks to the new subs. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everything that everyone's been doing, hitting up the comment section, sharing. I've been seeing that. I appreciate it. Remember, stay tuned with C. Anthony with boxing, and follow me with Death After Sports. So let's get right to it. On the night of November 26, 2007, while at home with his fiancee and their 18-month-old daughter, Sean Taylor got out of bed with a machete to investigate a noise that was coming from inside of his house. Mr. Taylor was confronted by 4 intruders. One of the intruders shot Sean Taylor in the leg, and he died of blood loss in front of his fiancee, Jackie Garcia. Tragic story. He was one of my best NFL players to ever grace the field. Loved him. He played with that old school mentality. Remind me a lot of Ronnie Lott. But this is a tale of a real man would do anything, and I mean anything, to protect his family. So remember, if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the video. So let's go. On the night of November 26, 2007, while at home, Taylor heard noises in his house, and while investigating the cause of the noises, was shot in the leg by a home intruder. Taylor's fiancee, Jackie Garcia, and the 18-month-old daughter, Jackie, were unharmed in the incident. Taylor's femoral artery was severed, causing extensive blood loss. Taylor was rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital, where he died the following day, on November 27 of 2007, at the age of 24. On November 30th, 4 men, Venja K. Hunt, 20, Eric Rivera Jr., 17, Jason Scott Mitchell, 19, and Charles Kendrick Lee Wardlow, 18, were arrested. Police said more than one confessed to the crime. All 4 men were charged with felony second-degree murder, armed burglary, and home invasion robbery with a firearm, charges which carry a maximum of life in prison. In May of 2008, a 5th suspect, 16-year-old Timothy Brown, was charged with first-degree murder and burglary. All the murder charges were subsequently increased to first-degree murder. The death penalty, however, was not sought because the gunman, Rivera, was 17 years old.
Allegedly involved in the deadly shooting of Washington Redskins star Sean Taylor. He's going to spend 30 years behind bars. 25-year-old Charles Wardlow was sentenced today after accepting a plea deal. Wardlow is the 4th man to be convicted in Taylor's death. A 5th, who is Wardlow's cousin, is still awaiting trial. The man identified as the shooter, Eric Rivera Jr., was sentenced to 60 years in prison back in 2013. The group of 5 men from Fort Myers is accused of breaking into Taylor's home back in 2007. They believed he was out of town. Taylor was home nursing an injury and confronted them with a machete. He was fatally shot in the leg. Taylor would have turned.
After a multitude of delays in many of these young men's cases, 7 years after the death of Sean Taylor, on January 23rd of 2014, Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Dennis Murphy sentenced Rivera to 57.5 years in prison. On June 10th, Jason Scott Mitchell was convicted in Taylor's murder and sentenced to life in prison. On April 1st of 2015, Charles Wardlow, the 4th person charged with Taylor's death, was sentenced to 30 years in prison. A week later, the final defendant, Timothy Lee Brown, was sentenced to 18 years in prison under a plea agreement. Burn in hell. Got a little harsh there at the end, but really, burn in hell. I'm serious, burn in hell. I got my receipts as usual. We're gonna work our way through this and see if we can get some life lessons out of this tragic tale of Sean Taylor. Remember, if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the video. And make sure you hit up the notifications so we be all in your notifications when we drop our videos. Number one, we got to do better. We got to do better as a society. We got to do better as a culture. We definitely got to do better these days. These were some young men. They were kids. Some were kids. In my eyes, they're kids. You got a 20-year-old. You got a 17-year-old. You have a 19-year-old. You have an 18-year-old. And Timothy Brown, this guy was 16 years old. He should be worried about who he taking to prom instead of worrying about running up in somebody's house and taking what he don't own and what they work hard for. It's a bunch of BS, a bunch of bullshit, if you ask me. But we got to do better. This happened in 2007, and it's 2024, and I can say by all recollection and accounts, we aren't doing better. We still doing horrible shit. We still doing horrible stuff out here in the streets. We still trying to take what's not ours. So I guess a lot of people haven't learned because they always think they can get away. Number two, in the hood, we got this saying. We put you up on game. We got this saying called a quick come up. When we think we can take / rob someone from their for their valuables. But here's the thing. We never think about what that other person can do to you. Or you never think about, when I run up in his house, this person might be waiting for me and that he could kill me. We only think of the quick come up. And sometimes it's no such thing as a quick come up. You get away with it once on a quick come up. Second time you might not get away with it. Let me do a little story time for you. I was born and raised in New Orleans. Moved up north, Connecticut, when I was roughly almost in my 20s. And I have a friend of a friend. I knew him pretty well. We weren't the best friends, but we spoke. We hung out in certain crowds together. But let me tell you a story. I'm not going to give any names, but he knew that the people that lived the next street over had a bunch of money in his house, some valuables, jewelry, drugs. So him and a couple of his friends, they choose to go, survey the area, look around the area, try to get the drop on these dudes. They thought they had the drop on these dudes, so they kick down the door. They go into the house. But little did they know that the guys that they were going after, saw them surveilling the house and found it quite suspicious. So as time went on, they kicked in the door. They went in. They didn't know that those guys were waiting on them with 40s and Ks and all Max, Techs, 9s, Glocks. And they got him in the hallway. And I mean, they got him. They lit him up. They lit him up so bad to where they didn't close casket him, but they had to put hats on him and hide all this stuff. And, you knew the guy, and I felt bad for him. But retaliation? No retaliation. You know why? I put myself in the shoes of the guys that house was getting broken into. And honestly, I would have did the same thing. You run up in my house and I know you coming to try to take what's mine, possibly my life. I'm going to put them things in you. And that's what happened to him. So, moral of that story is leave people shit alone. They work hard for it. Leave it alone. All right, I have one more, and I'm going to get you on out of here. Won't keep you long, as I always say. Remember, if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the video. My dog, I tell you, boy. Pippi, stop. Number 3, I've always wondered why Sean Taylor didn't have a firearm in his house to protect him and his family. This happened in Florida, right? So in Florida, by all means, you can pretty much go buy a gun from a place where you get your chewing gum from. So chewing gum, gun. Let me grab a lighter on my way out. That's how easy it is. Not blaming him, but it always made me wonder why he didn't have a gun. And it's all in Florida, you can get it very easy, a legal firearm. There's no problem. But why didn't he have one, especially when you're of high stature and you have more than the average person. So you have high stature, you have more than the average person, you live in Florida. You have to keep in mind that someone might want to come take what's yours. So to me, it bothered me that he had a machete that night. A machete is good. It's good for protection, close quarters, but he literally brought a long knife to a gunfight, and he lost. But he did protect his fiance and their daughter. It's a tough situation. But remember this, always protect your family. If you have to get a firearm, protect your family. The machete was cool, but it just wasn't going to work that night in that certain situation. And I love Sean Taylor. I love what he did to that punter in the Pro Bowl. He was one of those guys. He just was a beast. They called him Meese, a mix of man and beast. They call him Mr. Meese. And he will be missed. But remember, protect your family. By all means, by all accounts, do what you have to do to protect your family. One more thing I like to say is rest in peace to Sean Taylor. You left a mark on the sports world and on the NFL that would never be forgotten. And on that note, I've been Sean Mack, and this is Death After Sports. Sean Taylor.